Destination Space, and an Atlas V rocket is set to leave our Space Coast just minutes from now at 11:05. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jackie Brockington. On board that rocket is a top-secret spacecraft. We don't know what the X37B will do. News 13's Greg Pallone is standing by at Cape Canaveral, but first, let's check in on the weather conditions with meteorologist Jamie Martin. So, Jamie, how's it looking out there?
Jackie, looking beautiful out there for the launch. Once again, we have fairly clear skies out there, just a few fair weather clouds. That's just about it. In fact, taking a look right now from the Health First Cape Canaveral
Clear as a bell, a little hazy, but clear.
Just a couple of clouds, no problems at all.
Clouds.
Temperatures are just fine too. 84 around Titusville and the Cape right now, 85 in Melbourne, 87 degrees in Orlando, 85 in Sanford. So it is definitely a warm hour out there. Look at the satellite and the radar combined. Again, nice and quiet, no problems at all for the launch or for getting out and doing things. But as we head through the afternoon hours, we will eventually see the return of scattered showers and storms, about a 40% chance as we head through the rest of the day. Of course, we'll keep tracking those showers and have more detail on not only the work week, but also your weekend forecast coming up with your weather on the ones.
Thanks, Jamie. Let's head out to Cape Canaveral and News 13's Greg Pallone. Greg, how's the countdown progressing?
Jackie, the team just polled all go on all stations, so we are go for launch here in just a matter of minutes of this Atlas V. Standing at Launch Complex 41 at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. We're actually on Kennedy Space Center property, but we still have a great view of the pad out here, and things are looking great. You heard Jamie talking about the conditions. We have crystal blue skies, just a little bit of a breeze, and we're thankful for that because it's very hot out here right now this May day. Let's talk a little bit about this mission that's going to be launching here in just a matter of minutes. The payload, a small unmanned classified military space plane, which over the years has been dubbed a mini space shuttle, mainly for its looks, cargo bay door, and its reusable landing. It's also reusable. It can land back on Earth just as the space shuttles did on a runway. NASA's space shuttles did that for more than 30 years. This is called the X37B. It's a robotically operated craft. It is tiny compared to the shuttle, just 29 feet long. That's a quarter the size of a space shuttle. As in 3 previous flights, once again, we do not know much about this secret mission. The Air Force has revealed it will be testing an experimental thruster. Now, the last mission lasted 675 days up in orbit. That is a long time before landing in California. Its processing was recently moved here to the Kennedy Space Center, so it's not a long move to move this vehicle out to the pad for launch at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. We do know there's a NASA experiment on board. It is a tiny solar sailing spacecraft, one of 10 CubeSats. So that is about the size of a loaf of bread. So we're talking lots of tiny things on this mission. The effort is called Light Sail, part of the nonprofit group Planetary Society. The goal is to help develop solar sail technology, which would eventually mean free propulsion. That's using the sun for power. They would not have to use any fuel. And as we know, fuel is very heavy and very costly when you're talking about space missions. Now, if this window, it's a small window. It's only about the first one, at least, about 10 minutes long. It runs from 11:05 to 11:15. They're hoping to launch at the top of this first window. If something happens with the count or some issues might happen, they have another launch window today from 12:42 to 12:52. So we're going to go ahead here in just a moment, and we are going to step aside as we're about to have a rocket launch from the Space Coast, an Atlas V from the United Launch Alliance, launching this very important mission for the U.S. Air Force, the mini space shuttle, the X37B, the payload. So we're going to step aside right now and listen to the count as here in just a moment, we hope to witness the launch of an Atlas V rocket from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station.
This is Atlas Mission Control. Now at T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Report range status. This is the Rock. Range is green.
Stable at step 3.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 30 seconds and counting.
ECS produced for launch. Roger.
25.
Status check. Go Atlas. Go Centaur. Go Aft Space 5.
20. 15.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have RD-180 ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance SPC-5 payload with the Atlas V launch vehicle for the United States Air Force.
Well, let's go out and see what we see.
Now hearing the voice of Rob Gannon providing launch vehicle activity.
There it is. See it? See it? Come on, between them trees, you don't see that little light? Huh? Very small. Starting to see, you can see a trail from it. And that's about it. Got lost in the haze.
Okay.
Gone. You can see it way up there a little bit, so won't even pick it up with the camera. WDAN Space News. We'll go back inside and watch the replay.
G's. Parameters looking good. Total pound payload throwing jettison.
Booster separation there.
Everything looking good. Getting ready for firing. Fluid cranks up. And CFR deck has jettisoned as well. Engine is throttling back up to 80% rated thrust, right as expected. Vehicle's operating normally. We've started boost phase chill down. We're now entering our constant 4.6G acceleration phase in preparation for shutdown. Everything looking good. Coming up on shutdown. Boost phase chill has terminated as expected. We have cut off.
And there you have it, a 200-foot tall Atlas V rocket producing 23,000 pounds of thrust bolting off the launch pad here at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. On board, a small unmanned classified military space plane called the X37B. This is a super secret mission for the United States Air Force, having some experiments up in space. This This plane has been dubbed a mini space shuttle, really for its characteristics, the way it looks, also too with a cargo bay door, and it's reusable. It'll land back on Earth from some time. The previous missions have lasted for a couple of years up in orbit. That's much different than the space shuttles that we knew for those 30 years of that program. They could only be up there for just a couple of weeks. But again, this is a secret mission, but a beautiful launch, Jackie. Wonderful out here, blue skies, weather forecast holding up. The countdown was flawless. The very top of the very first window that we saw out here on the Space Coast. So hopefully folks were stepping outside. This is the last week of school here in Brevard County. Hopefully all the school kids, or at least the teachers, gave the school kids a break so they could come out and take a look. And lots of folks vacationing out on the beaches as well saw themselves a rocket launch. We don't know much about what's going to happen to the X37B once it's up in orbit now, as it is a secret mission, but we'll have to wait and see. It could land in a couple of years. It could be a year, so we'll just have to see. But again, a rocket launch happening here on the Space Coast, Jackie, so it was pretty, to say the least. Back to you.
Yes, it was. Thanks so much, Greg. Once again, if you're just joining us, there was a successful liftoff of an Atlas V rocket from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. So let's take a look at a replay.
3, 2, 1, 0. We have RD-180 ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance SPC-5 payload with the Atlas V launch vehicle for the United States Air Force.
Disturbances are as expected.
We're now hearing the voice of Rob Gannon providing launch vehicle ascent data. Let's listen in for mission progress.
Everything is looking good. Passing 30 seconds of the flight, everything looks good. Flight control is nice and smooth. Coming up on 50 seconds in the mission, everything looks good. Flight controls right down the middle, good normal disturbances for atmospheric flight.
On the very first try, a success. Now for replays of the launch and more information about the mission, just head to mynews13.com. As we mentioned, perfect day, weather conditions for a launch. Let's check out your weather on the ones.